loves, welcome to TT's Urban Pantry. Today I am making up some chicken stock. So I'm just going to jump right in. I have 7 quarts of water boiling already. And then I'm going to add in my ingredients and then see how we are with the water line and then put more water in. So I am using this book. And what it's calling for chicken broth is 1 whole chicken, 4 pounds. And what I have is I got that big bag of chicken quarters for, it was like $6, 10 pounds, and I split that in half. So right here I have about 5 pounds of chicken. Wash my hands real quick. And now I'm going to add in my carrots, which is 8 carrot stalks, cut in half, washed and cleaned and everything. And then I have 3 onions that are quartered and 2 heads of garlic. Just gonna dump all of this in there. This is about 1 pound of celery, washed and cut up. And then about that much peppercorns and some salt. This is coarse, kosher salt. I like the chunky, the coarse salt when I'm making broth. And I'm going to put more water in here. See if you can see. Watch out, Kodak. Let me see. So we do need more water in here. And what I'm planning to do with the rest of that chicken that I have got, I'm going to do the same process again. So when you make your chicken broth, I like to do it in 2 days, so it's usually a long weekend project for me. I won't just do it if I only have Saturday and Sunday off. So what I'm going to do is bring this up to a boil, let it boil for about 10 minutes, and then take it to a high simmer. And I will let it simmer there for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And then I will drain all of this goodness out of here and we'll only have the chicken broth left over. So I just added in 3 more quarts. So all together there we have 10 quarts of water. So I'm back and it's morning. And I want to do this before the house wakes up. So I'm not even getting dressed. Kodak is outside. So I want to move now, take advantage of this. So I've taken this out the fridge. And I'm about to skim this fat off the top. And see how it all just kind of comes together. And I will try to pick it all up in one piece. And this is more of a white chicken broth than the more brown broth that you may be familiar with. Reason being is because I use this. I have trouble keeping a good simmer on this. So it was almost at a rapid boil the entire time. I never turned the camera back on last night, but it was almost at a rapid boil the entire 2 hours that I kept it all in there. So because of that constant higher temperature, it is a white broth. The difference between a white and a brown broth is usually a white one is a lighter taste. So when I make my other half later this morning, I'm gonna put it on the stove because I can maintain a better simmer that way. So all I'm gonna do is kind of keep skimming this, and then before I pour it in here, I will run it through cheesecloth one more time. When I took it out last night, I did run it through cheesecloth. I ended up putting it in here and putting this entire thing in the refrigerator. So this is the last of our second batch of the chicken broth, and I want to show you the difference after I skim off the fat. So I just took this out the fridge. I'm going to get this fat off. And I already had this big pot full of broth that I skimmed the fat off, and that's heating up in here now, and this is the remainder of the chicken broth. You can get all this fat. So if you can see the color in this, how it's much darker, this is the difference in the technique. So the other chicken broth, where it was a lot lighter, the white chicken broth, that was because that was cooked constantly at almost a boil the entire time. So that resulted in a lighter color. And along with the lighter color, it's going to be a lighter, milder taste to the chicken broth. This was cooked after it was brought up to a boil for maybe 5-10 minutes. And then it was cooked at a constant simmer for about 3 hours, I think. I think I had it going for a really long time. And then the same as before, I ran it through some cheesecloth after I picked out the big chunks of veggies and the chicken. But I ran it through a cheesecloth and then put it in here and the other container and stuck it in the fridge overnight. And then I brought it out, skimmed that fat out, and I'm running it through cheesecloth again. You're not going to get all the fat, but you do want to have as little as possible when canning. So that is the last of the chicken broth. So I'm going to cover it, bring it up to temperature, get my pressure canner going, and get those jars heated up and everything so I can start canning those. So this is the end of our 3-day weekend chicken broth project. So I started on Friday night with just making up one batch of chicken broth, and that is the white chicken broth. And then Saturday morning I got up and I actually canned, he's playing with his toy, and then I actually canned the white chicken broth on Saturday morning. Saturday night I made up another batch of chicken broth, which is what this is, a traditional brown chicken broth, in addition to making up a batch of vegetable broth. Once the chicken broth had slow simmered for about 3 hours, I ran it through a cheesecloth and put it all in the fridge, and then I canned the vegetable broth that night, last night. I will put a link in the description, and also I will put a card embedded within the video of how I do the vegetable broth. And I think I ended up with 11.5 quarts of vegetable broth and 6 quarts of the white chicken broth. And now here it is Sunday, where I am actually canning the chicken broth, the second batch of chicken broth, the traditional brown. So I think I'm going to have to do 2 batches because I only have 1 more quart here to fill. And I still have some in here. Now I do want to let you know that all that chicken that I took from making the chicken broth, so what I do is I pitched the veggies. They're soggy. All the nutrients have been boiled out of those veggies. But the chicken is still good. So what I do is I make dog food. So I will show a video of how I make up dog food. And it's not like it's, you know, the top rated dog food. It's got this many calories and it's going to give them stamina and all that type of stuff. It's just healthy dog food. So that is what I will probably do tonight. So I will take that chicken and make the dog food, and if ideally, I think I might have about 3 quarts in here, so I might take half a quart and set aside for the dog food. These quarts of chicken broth need to process in the pressure canner for 25 minutes, I believe. I'll double check that. And you need to have 1 inch of headspace. Here is all the hard work paid off. So these 6 quarts are the white chicken broth for a lighter, milder taste. Then these next 3 rows, which is about 8, 9, 10, just about 8 ounces short of 12 quarts, are chicken broth, the brown chicken broth. So this was made, the white chicken broth was made by keeping it at a boil for about 2 to 3 hours. And then these are traditional with, after bringing it to a boil, you just simmer it for 2 to 3 hours. And then 11.5 quarts of vegetable broth. So I think we are actually done for the winter, but knowing me, I will probably do this again. This was a 3-day weekend process, but all the hard work paid off.
Thank you for watching TT's Urban Pantry. If you enjoyed this content or was able to learn anything from it, please hit like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified when new videos are uploaded. And as always, have a wonderful and blessed day.